go, the line go in. The light. Someone turn the light. Light.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Miss Chinese Montreal Pageant 2025. We have exciting shows for you tonight and beautiful girls waiting to meet you all tonight.
亲爱的女士们、先生们，谢谢你们参与我们2025年蒙特利尔华人小姐选美大赛。今晚各位终极赛的选美参赛者会给大家带来非常多的精彩表演，以及我们中途还会有抽奖活动，请大家敬请期待。
Nous sommes ravis de vous avoir parmi nous ce soir, marquant un des événements les plus anticipés de la communauté chinoise.
親愛嘅女士們、先生們，感謝你哋嘅到來，參加我哋嘅2025年蒙特利爾華人小姐參美大賽。 今晚各位最終賽嘅選美參賽者會帶嚟好多嘅精彩嘅表演，以及我哋中途仲會有抽獎嘅活動。 請大家盡情期待。多謝晒。
那么在此感謝你們的熱情和到來，也是給我們孩子們、女孩子們最大的鼓勵與支持。我是今晚主持人李月珊 ，I'm your host tonight, Lina。
我是今晚主持人劉詩詩 ，I'm your host tonight, Cici。
All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome first the president of Miss Chinese Montreal Pageant this year, Mrs. Suzanne Chan. Let's welcome her.
This is our first year, but the 40th year anniversary. I just want to say I'm very happy. You guys are great supporters of our pageant, and with further ado, we'd like to start as soon as possible, so I'm going to make it nice and sweet, and thank everybody for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the speech from Suzanne Chan. Next, please let us welcome the chairman of Miss Chinese Montreal Pageant, Jimmy Chan.
Hello, everyone. Oh, come on, you can make better noises than that. Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone, coming today to support our beautiful Chinese culture and traditions. Today, we're breaking the ice of moving forward the frontiers of the new generations of Miss Chinese Montreal Pageants. As producer of the show, we are not doing what we want. We're doing it what the young people want today. Today, we celebrate our 40 years anniversary of Miss Chinese Montreal Pageant, and we are very fortunate. We have many past queens coming in today, some from Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary. They flew all the way in the last couple of days, and today we celebrate our culture, tradition. And many of the pageant, the past queen that you could see today, many of them a housewife now. They have kids. They have kids now. And they all became professional. The beauty of the pageant is not just promoting the beauty. Yes, of course, it's important, but the beauty inside, the intelligence, the knowledge, experience in life, they come together and share the platform. They network together to helping each other. This is leadership. This is what's going to bring the younger Chinese woman to be stand out in the world, in our community, in our society, in Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight you will be witnessing the most extraordinary, spectacular show that put together in less than 2 months. Guieterez haven't really slept good every night, as my good friend there, Jim Bay knows. Ralph, Sandy, Long, Sherry, our Honorable Pauline Wong, and Yu Chen, and many other of you that know putting a pageant like this together is not an easy task. In fact, it's a full-time job. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone coming in to support today, and enjoy the journey of the pageant. Thank you.
各位朋友，大家好！在这美好的金秋时节，我非常高兴来到咱们2024蒙特利尔华裔小姐选美大赛的决赛现场。感谢活动组委会主席 Susan Wu Chen 女士、Jimmy Chen 先生，以及主办方对我们的邀请。当今世界，女性为社会进步和家庭幸福发挥着十分重要的作用。身居蒙城的华裔女性们， 拥有东西方双重文化，她们美丽、知性、勤奋、进取、自强不息，为传播中华优秀文化和促进华社更好融入当地社会，贡献出自己的力量。希望参赛的各位佳丽充分利用好这一展示自我、放飞梦想的平台，将美好形象、优秀才艺、气质内涵、精神境界综合展现，通过活动激扬青春活力，展现自信风采，弘扬健康生活，促进文化交流，实现更加广阔的人生追求和社会价值。活动举办以来，佳丽们刻苦训练，用心参赛，是你们的努力为蒙特利尔多元文化精彩绽放增添了一道时尚亮丽的中华文化风景线。预祝选手们取得好成绩，预祝大赛圆满成功。谢谢 ，Thank you。
Bonsoir, good evening. What's interesting is that I had no idea that I had to say a speech tonight. But it's okay. Always a pleasure to be here. Susan, Jimmy, my brother Jimmy, Madame Huang, Pauline, I see you at the other table there. We go back a long way with Montreal. How are you, my dear? Look, 40 years later, to celebrate part of the Chinese culture in Montreal is absolutely outstanding. The judges that will be introduced soon, of course, the volunteers that make it happen, and these wonderful women that will grace us all in this room. I've always said, and without sounding minimizing what these types of events are, I said it to somebody earlier tonight, you know, men, we need all these wonderful women around us because we have no idea what we're doing sometimes. And when you see the women here tonight with what they have to offer the world as we move forward is a wonderful thing. So for me, it is also a pleasure and an honor to be here with the Chinese community. I feel like it's a part of my family. And thank you very much for having me. Merci beaucoup. Bonsoir à tous.
Hello, everybody. C'est un plaisir d'être ici, de voir tout le monde dans cette salle. It's fantastic to see everyone together here this evening for the pageant, the 40th anniversary of this pageant. Thank you to everyone who's made this possible, and for all of the judges, all those involved in the pageant. Jimmy and Susan, thank you for and making sure that we are all here to appreciate and to celebrate the Chinese community here in Montreal, culture and art. The Chinese community in Canada is an extremely important community. And myself, as a member of Parliament and a representative of the Government of Canada, to the Minister of, also Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Diversity, Inclusion and Persons with Disabilities, I've grown to learn about the deep roots of those who have Chinese descent within Canada. Recently, I had the chance to go to Vancouver and saw the presence of those of Chinese descent to our country, those who helped build our railroads, to help create the Canadian Confederation. People from China have been contributing to our beautiful country for several decades and since the beginning of Confederation. And that's why this pageant is so special and so important. So without further ado, I just again want to thank Jimmy and Susan for bringing us together. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I want to take this moment to thank the new owners, Susan Wu and Jimmy Chan, with their new management team, for organizing this incredible and thrilling, spectacular show tonight. The pageant embraces intelligent, talented young Chinese women who will be the future leaders in Canada. So enjoy the show. Thank you very much for coming.
Now we're going to proceed to the dining segment. So we'll allocate time for you to chat, to socialize with your friends, and to enjoy your meal. During this time, we'll also invite you to visualize a short video highlighting the history of the Miss Chinese Montreal throughout the years.
Next, let's give a big round of applause as we welcome back 8 of our previous queens to the stage. We are thrilled to have them join us again this year, celebrating their continued influence and presence in our community.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Judy Wu from 1985, the first Chinese beauty queen crowned here in Montreal. We welcome you to come on stage.
Next, Catila 1987.
Next, Annabelle Chong from 2006.
Next, first runner-up Jessica Chan 2007.
We also have Macy Tran from 2010.
Next, actually Jessie Chow 2017.
Tyra Rosnoff Rock 2021.
Finally, we have Gabby Chu 2024.
Let's give them another round of applause. On this occasion, we would also like to invite the President, Susan Chan, and the Chairman, Jimmy Chan, to come on stage for a group picture together.